Hi, I'm Saki, and today I'm going to show you how to get lemon bars out of the pan and have them come out looking like this. Look how perfect that is. It's all square and stuff. The same technique also applies to brownies, lasagna, leftover mashed potatoes. I know you're probably thinking you already know how to depan lemon bars, but let me tell you, after years of baking lemon bars and bringing them to parties to share, I have seen some massive failures. Which is why I made this tutorial. It's for you, so that you can learn how to remove lemon bars from the pan elegantly, adeptly, and victoriously. I'm going to show you some common mistakes and how to avoid them. I made so many lemon bars for this tutorial. Alright, so before you remove the bars from the pan, you need to make bars first. It is a uni bar. Wait, don't just skip this part of the video because you think you already know how to cut bars. There's an actual technique here, and it's absolutely critical to ensuring success in later steps. I can't even tell you how many failed bar cuts I've seen. First of all, you have to use a sharp knife. It's mandatory. I don't know why people try to cut lemon bars with anything other than a sharp knife. Let me ask you something. Do you eat spaghetti with a spoon? This is mistake number one. Mistake number one, using the wrong tools. So make sure you're using an actual cutting utensil to cut. I know it's really tempting, but do not use a serving spatula to cut the bars. It's not gonna cut it. You will fail. Also, not all knives are knives. This is not a knife. When I see people cutting lemon bars with a plastic knife, it makes me want to do this. It's not very effective. Get a real knife. Anyway, so when you're slicing lemon bars, make sure you're actually slicing. So slicing looks like this. You're drawing a line with a knife. This is chopping. Don't lift the knife up. Slicing, chopping. And then there's this, which is called slopping. Don't do that either. This brings us to mistake number two, breaking contact with the pan. The reason it's really important to slice and not chop is because you want to ensure that you're making a full cut instead of just a perforation. Just to show you what that looks like. So on the first two cuts, I'm going to slice it. And then on the third cut, I'm going to chop it. And you can see when we flip the pan over that the chopping just didn't cut it. We didn't make the cut. I hold my knife this way instead of this way because then I can apply pressure with all of my fingers instead of just the pointer. But if you're strong, you can hold your knife however you want. Now, this is really important. When you get to the edge, keep contact with the pan. Do not break contact. You'll have to angle the knife upwards so that the tip really gets into the corner of the pan. And also when you begin your cut, start all the way on the edge of the pan and get that knife tip into the first corner. Many people miss the corner and then that edge piece won't come out cleanly. When you go to remove the bars, the crust is still connected here and this is what happens. Okay, now that the bars are cut, it's time to actually remove them from the pan. Do you remember what mistake number one was? Make sure you got the right tools. For the same reason that we use an actual knife to do the cutting, we use an actual spatula to remove the bars. Do not attempt to remove your lemon bars with a fork or a knife or any other non-spatula item. It's not gonna work. You will fail. Technically this is also a spatula, but this is a rubber spatula. It's actually a silicone spatula, but anyway. This is also a spatula in American English, but it's not the kind of spatula you should use to remove lemon bars. This is the kind of spatula you need to remove lemon bars. I think in British English this is called a fish slice. They use it to cook fish. I don't know. Or this type, which is a pancake turner or a burger flipper. This would flip the tiniest burger. Anyway, make sure you're using a proper spatula. I also highly recommend you get the size of spatula that matches the size of the thing you're trying to spatule. But if you don't have a tiny spatula, that's okay. You can remove two at a time with a big spatula and separate the conjoined bars later. Okay. Let's get down to business. And depan the bars. Okay, listen up. This is the most important part of the entire tutorial, okay? This is spatula 101, which is a prerequisite for all other intermediate and advanced techniques. Students think they can just skip this part of kitchen education, and then later on they wonder why they fail in life. Okay, so remember this concept. This edge right here, the business end of the spatula, this should never ever break contact with the pan. It should touch the pan at all times. It's the same thing as the knife. When you cut the lemon bars, the tip has to touch the bottom of the pan the whole time. It's the same thing. This edge has to touch the pan at all times. For some reason, people get really lax about depanning. They make zero effort to slide the spatula under the lemon bar as they depan it. I don't know why. Maybe they're thinking like, I have to lift it out and elevate it, so they prematurely lift before they separate it from the pan. Let me ask you something. When you fry an egg and you're using the spatula to flip it, do you do it like this or like this? So do not do that. Do not let your spatula leave the pan. Here's a pro tip. Apply downward pressure to the spatula to keep this edge in contact with the bottom of the pan. See how it's flexing? I know it's counterintuitive, but it's like undermining the system. Top-down approaches don't work here. You need to attack its foundation. Here's an example of an unsuccessful upheaval. For complete removal, you really need to get to the bottom of it. Don't be afraid to flex the spatula. Spatulas were made for that. Look at that perfect bar. Alright, world's quickest review session. There are only 2 concepts here, okay? Concept number 1, use the correct tools. Concept number 2, keep in contact with the pan at all times. That's all. Okay, well, that's it for today. Look at those beautiful bars. Hopefully this tutorial has elevated your depanning standards. I know I set the bar pretty high, but if you can master these basics, you'll never have to worry about making the cut. Thanks for watching. For more useful, useless tutorials such as this one, subscribe to my channel.